This is Andy Purwell for ID Boxing. I'm joined by Richard Riakporhe here in Bournemouth. Richard, an old foe of yours, come through with a stoppage victory tonight in Billam-Smith against Armend Xhoxhaj. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I think he got the job done. You know, it was a bit iffy coming through the first couple of rounds. He's getting caught, but with some silly shots. You know, I don't know what was going on, but it didn't look like the normal Chris Billam-Smith, the gentleman. So I was kind of worrying, honestly, sitting ringside. But I was happy that he got the win. You know, I actually believe in him, and I believe that he would get the job done tonight. I predicted he would do that within 6, and he done just that. So, you know, it's all about the results. That's the most important thing, and he can go back to the gym and work on what he needs to work on. So, you know, coming up to the end of the year, maybe he's been going through things in his life that people don't know about. But you know what, he can bounce back with a better performance next time.
Richard, from what you saw tonight then, what exactly was you maybe most critical of? What did you feel like he didn't do too well?
He just, I don't know. It's just, he looked a bit laxy-daisy, you know, just quite lethargic. It took him a while to just, you know, get up and running. You know, maybe I probably would have liked to see him a bit more alert. You know, he's getting clipped with some silly shots. I didn't understand why that was. You know, but you know, with boxing, I think that's the natural course of things. You know, when you get hit a lot, you know, the mileage goes up, and maybe you can't react the way you have done in the past. So who knows what the issue is.
Richard, we know you're a heavy-handed guy. If you was in the ring there tonight and you were able to land some of those shots that Xhoxhaj's done, would it have been a different story?
Well, everybody knows, like everybody knows my forte. You know, I'm probably the biggest puncher in the world at cruiserweight. You know, and a lot of people have said this. You know, after sparring me, I feel like any person that I land a clean shot on is getting knocked out or will be at least a TKO. But this fight will be stopped.
Richard, that CBS rematch has been spoken about for a while between the pair of you. Do you think we see that in 2023?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It depends if he's up for it, for sure. And I think it depends on routes and navigation and stuff. But I think that'll be a massive fight. That'll be something that the crowds will be, you know, they'll be in attendance. You know, fill up a big stadium. Bournemouth versus Palace. You know. Listen, it just makes so much sense. I think this is a bigger fight. This actually could be a bigger fight than the Okolie versus Riakporhe fight. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Think about it. We got Palace, Crystal Palace. We got Bournemouth, Premiership, football, boxing. You know, the boxing crowd. You know, the boxing critics. The boxing fans. They know about us. They like the first fight, and we gelled really nice. There's no awkward type of style with us both. We both box. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a boxing match. So it's perfect. The styles, Joe. It makes so much sense. I think there's a lot of money in that fight.
I asked Ben Shalom about the fight, and he said that you could well be in the running to potentially face Chris in the summer at the Bournemouth football ground. Would you be willing, if the fight gets made, to fight at Bournemouth ground, or would it have to be a neutral venue?
It's funny because I literally just got a message from Palace, and they said get him to Selhurst in summer, bro. Get him to Selhurst in summer, and that's the message right there.
Okay.
You know, that's straight from Palace. So, you know, I don't know, man. We might have to do a little battle for this. But you know, listen, like it's all good. I think it makes sense in London. London is where people want to come. Most of the boxing fans come from London, like Bournemouth. You know, seaside town. I love the Bournemouth fans at the same time, but you know, people would want to come out.
Richard, I want to echo Spencer's calls. You do look very sharp tonight. You're putting the rest of us to shame. But there was a lot of talks a few months ago that you two may have crossed paths a bit sooner, towards the beginning of next year. Is there a reason why that isn't going to be the case, obviously with the exception of Chris fighting tonight?
You have to bear in mind he has a world title shot. He's been promised by Riakporhe. I have my own route at the same time. You know, we're doing really well. He's doing well. I'm doing well. So it's like I think it's a case where they probably sat back and thought about. You know what? Let's just build him a bit more. Like what's the rush? Do you know what I mean? What's the rush? The fight. We're here. He's a fighter. I'm a fighter. We'll both take the fight. Nobody's shying away from no fights. Well, that's what I believe in I could talk for myself, isn't it? So I think it's just a business. It's just business, the boxing business, and people probably thought it would probably be better for him to go elsewhere and headline.
Richard, you're both entertaining guys. When you crossed paths previously and you came out on top, could you ever imagine that a potential rematch is being spoken about in such high value and could be such a big fight for you and for Chris at this stage of either of your careers, whether it's for a world title or without a world title on the line?
Yeah, it's amazing. What's going on? Yes, yeah. I think it's an amazing opportunity for both. We can get our names on a map. This is what we dreamed about doing, headlining shows and having interest all over the world. You know, it's a fantastic opportunity for me, and it's a fantastic opportunity for Chris Billam-Smith. Something to be a part of, something that we could tell our kids and our family about when we're older. So I think it's amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think maybe will happen one day. It makes a lot of sense, and let's see how it goes. It would be better, you know, if he was to fight for a world title next, managed to get, you know, hopefully, you know, we could do a world title show. You know, and as a champion, he would have a bit more power. Like you say, yeah, Richard, come down to Bournemouth. It's no problem, mate. No problem. I'll be there. Yeah.
Richard, on the front.
Actually, I beg to. Let me take that back. Listen, we got power as well. You know, we got power. We got a good case. So we're gonna have to meet in the line, negotiate, you know, and make it a fair, you know, fair fight.
Richard, on the front of yourself and what's next, there have been some reports that Krzysztof Głowacki may be your next opponent. Is that the case?
Yeah, we're going to wait and see. There's going to be an announcement soon. So just stay tuned and you'll be able to see the news.
You mentioned Lawrence Okolie earlier on as well, a man with a world title in your division. There's been a lot of talk about what's next for him. What have you made of the recent ongoings between him, Eddie Hearn, Sky Boxer, and where he stands on a promotional front?
Yeah, I feel for him. I feel for him because I've been in the same situation. A lot of people don't know, but one day I was in a contract and there was some disputes there, and it's not where I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the dealings, you know, to that extent. I haven't seen no contracts. I don't know what the issue is, but I just know how I felt as a boxer where I couldn't box, or there was some dark clouds hovering over me. Which is, you know, who knows the situation, but you know, sometimes fighters you just want to fight, you know, that's it. And the politics it just gets a bit long, and I was in that position once upon a time. But hopefully, you know, Matchroom and Okolie can work out the differences, and everybody moves on, and he can compete and he can jump back in the mix, because right now, it's the cruiserweight division in the world is hot, it's heating up.
Richard, final one before I let you go. A campmate of yours, Anthony Joshua, is out in the States, kind of going around different gyms. What are your thoughts on that current situation?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. He's going out there, he's testing the waters, as you say. And yeah, hopefully he gets something, he takes something from the experience that he's receiving out there and brings something back, and because he's got some big fights lined up for next year.
I asked Fraser this, I'm going to ask you as well. Robert Garcia has come out with a few things to say a couple of days ago, and he said that whatever and whoever Anthony decides to train with, he needs to get out of his comfort zone. He's got to be willing to go into the gym when he's tired. He's got to be willing to spar when he doesn't want to. Whenever you've been in and around him, these last few camps you spent together with him, have you ever looked at him in training, and have you ever seen somebody who maybe isn't motivated to be there?
Absolutely not. Every time I've seen Joshua, he's been on it. I can see it in his eyes. I see in the way he conducts himself. You know, he's on it. He's a fighter. He doesn't have to do this. He actually doesn't have to do it. He's in the best position right now to just leave it all alone, and he'll be, you know, in a great position, you know, either way. But you know, I feel like he's definitely, you know, he's got what it takes. He's got what it takes, and I've seen him myself. He does what he needs to do. Let's just put it that way.
Well, Richard, I'm sure you've got other things to do tonight. You're looking sharp, so Bournemouth, watch out. Have you got much on over Christmas period?
Yeah, watch out. I'm going to be right in bed after this interview. So yeah, watch out. Watch me on ID Boxing.